Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Feature Friday series where I show you some of how wholesale works. Today, I'm talking about inventory tables. And with that, let's get started with it. For anyone who's on the call that doesn't know about wholesale or what wholesale is a serialized inventory management system meant to be a place where you manage your inventory. And it's specifically been designed for folks that buy and sell used cell phones or used tablets, wearable devices, so used mobile devices. And one of the things that wholesale does very well is you manage your inventory there, but wholesale connects to the channels that you sell your inventory on. And for a lot of used device resellers, those channels are like eBay, Swappa, Backmarket, and then others where you have your own custom site like Shopify or WooCommerce. Wholesale can either directly or passively through ShipStation integrate with all these channels to import your orders when they come through so that you can fulfill them with your inventory and keep those channels updated with the quantities that you have available. So the idea is that it's one place to manage your inventory and it syncs with all the other places that need to know how much inventory you have. A benefit of wholesale over other systems is that you can do IMEI scanning right within the app. So compared to other inventory systems that are not built around the IMEI or serial number of the used devices, they don't let you manage devices quite as clearly, and wholesale is built from the ground up to be able to scan and search for IMEIs, add them to purchase orders and sales orders, etc. So it's been designed for that use for the ground up. Um, and then wholesale is a web application. It's on the internet, and so you just log into it in a browser. And if you've got a team of 10 people, each person can be logged into it from a browser anywhere in the world. So it allows you to have this communication that if you're operating without a piece of software, really improves the communication between your team and make things a lot more fluid. So that's wholesale in a nutshell. Today, in particular, we're talking about wholesale inventory tables and why they are so special. I think a lot of people come to wholesale from using spreadsheets to manage their inventory. They either use uh, Google Sheets or Excel or some other spreadsheet platform. And spreadsheets are great because they are so flexible. And so they allow you to kind of model your business however it's currently working, and they let you do that very quickly and very fast. And so a lot of people, when they start their business, will start on spreadsheets and then eventually move towards, once they have kind of business models that are more concrete, they will start wanting a more solid piece of software behind that. But some people stay on spreadsheets for a really long time. The deficits of spreadsheets are kind of exactly what wholesale tackles with our inventory tables, and those items listed on the left there are kind of what I'll go through. So spreadsheets can get really challenging at scale when you add tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of items to them. They can still work, but they kind of get slower and slower as you add more and more data. Whereas wholesale's inventory tables, you can add hundreds and hundreds of thousands of items into your wholesale account, and the inventory tables are still very snappy. And so you're able to use them quickly, and they don't get bogged down. Um, Excel does have filters, and spreadsheets do have filters, but they don't have filters quite built like wholesale's inventory tables, where you can check for a specific product, for the functionality of the product, the grade, the status, etc., and cross-reference these different things. You can kind of achieve that stuff in Excel if you have it set up just right, but that comes right out of the box in wholesale. And the search functionality as well. You can search for things. You can do a find lookup in Excel, but doing it in wholesale, I'll be showing you here in a second, is really fast and a really great experience. And so the search functionality does that, and then we have a grouped and individual button that I'll be showing you as well that kind of flips your inventory. And this is maybe the most powerful piece. Is in Excel, you can only see your inventory listed out individually, or maybe you've got your inventory listed by product with a quantity, and you kind of have to choose between either one or create two separate spreadsheets to do that. In wholesale, the table will just dynamically change for you at the click of a button. So you can see all of your iPhone 8 that you have available for sale, or if you want to see that listed as a quantity, excuse me, you can click one button and see that, and I'll be showing you that as well. So that's a super powerful thing. You may have statuses built into your like inventory statuses built into your spreadsheet, and you can kind of get a sense of stock levels there. But I'll be showing you in the demo as well. Wholesale's inventory tables have a stock levels view that shows you your different inventory items by product and which status they're sitting in, which is really helpful. And again, it's just one more click into being able to see that. And then the last piece of this is bulk actions. In wholesale, all of the inventory tables, whether you're looking at a purchase order, a sales order, looking at all your inventory at once, you have the ability to select multiple items and perform bulk actions on them, which can be pretty powerful. And so those are kind of all of the pieces that you're missing in a spreadsheet. And when you migrate over to wholesale, they're right there in every table that you look at your inventory in. And so I'm excited to show you all about those today. Typically, I would go through a longer kind of presentation, but today I want to dive right into this and start going. We have a chat box here. If you have any questions as I'm going through, feel free to ask a question in the chat, and I'll read it out and get to it. And then those links are there so you guys can see. You can sign up for a trial at our URL there, and you can reach out to us for support at any point in time. So I'm going to jump into the demo right now and show you guys what inventory tables are all about. So hopefully you can see my wholesale screen. Did that switch over? It looks like it did. So this is kind of the main inventory page in wholesale. If you went to a purchase order, let's go to this one right here from our test supplier, you're going to see a similar inventory table. So these inventory tables, no matter where you're looking at your inventory from, this is all the inventory on this specific purchase order. And then this inventory page in wholesale has just all of the inventory that you've ever passed through your business and put into wholesale. And I think, again, that's another thing that we were talking about scale. In a spreadsheet, having all of the inventory that's ever come through your business in one spreadsheet would get extremely slow and very difficult to manage. In wholesale, you can do this very quickly, and it works quite well. And let me give you an example of that. Let's go, this column right here is the ID of specific items in our inventory. So if you upload inventory to wholesale and it doesn't have an ESN, it'll have this ID, which is unique, so you can still look it up even if you don't have the serial number or IMEI number put in. So I copied that, and I'm just going to show you how fast the search works. I'm going to paste that in. It's going to say loading, and then boom, we've loaded and we have that specific device. So as you can imagine, if you're doing RMAs or processing returns, or somebody comes into your office and they have one of the devices they bought from you and they want to return it, you can scan the IMEI or the unique ID of that device. It comes up in a split second, and you're able to go in and see what was the history of this device. And we could go click on this, and it would take us to the details about that device. I'm not going to do that now, but that's one of the capabilities of it, just to show you how that works. And kind of to show you what I mean about scale here, we see on each of these pages, we see 100 items in our inventory. But in this test account, we've got 25,000, almost 26,000 items in inventory, and it filters and sorts through them very quickly. So that was the search function. Let me show you some of our filtering functions just to show you what it can do. So I can come in here and search for a model. Let's do iPhone XS Max. So let's look at iPhone XS Max. Filtering for that is going to show us all the XS Max that we have in here. Let's see if we have any that are unlocked. Looks like we don't have any. How about Verizon? Nope. Looks like we got AT&T though. So let's look at AT&T. So now we filtered down for all of our iPhone XS Max, AT&T. If we want, we're going to see in this list some of the sold items that have been sold to different customers. And actually, you can see that here. And our other items don't have a status. So what's cool is we can use the status to filter for sold if we want to look at things and items that have been sold, and we get that pairing right down there. And we can look for available stuff. So one of the things that I think is a really popular use of wholesale is your sales manager or some of your sales representatives on your team can come in and can look at items that are available. And so you can create and manage these statuses in wholesale that match your business. But in this test account, we have available as kind of the status that says, okay, this inventory has been whatever we were doing to it. Maybe we repaired it. Maybe we went through some other process, but now it is available for sale. And we can filter the status for that inventory. So now we're just seeing available items. We can also go through here and select the grade. So again, grades are something that you can completely customize in wholesale, but we've got some standard ones in here. So now we're looking and filtering for available items that are B grade. Maybe you've got a customer that just wants B grade and you need to come in and search for them. And let's just look for iPhone 8. So now we're sorting for B grade available iPhone 8s, and it turns out we actually have a decent number of them. But it would be kind of a pain to go through and count these one by one. And now we're getting towards the grouped and individual views that I was talking about in our slide deck earlier. So let's go here and click on grouped. And all of our filters are going to apply. And it turns out, look at that, we have a quantity of 3,000 of these iPhone 8s. So if we tried to count them individually, that would have been an absolute nightmare. But we can see now, just from clicking the group tab, or the group button, excuse me, that we can see 3,000 are available. They're in various locations in our inventory. So we may, if we're going to go fulfill those for an order, we need to go look in those multiple locations. We have an average cost, we have a list price, and then a total cost across the entire batch of inventory. And this would mean that I think some of them are maybe missing their price, or maybe if you multiply that makes sense. But nonetheless, here's the power of going between the individual and group view. If I need to come in and see a specific item in the inventory, a specific item by ESN or by WholeCell's ID for that item, I can find that really quickly. If I pop over to the group tab, in just a couple of seconds, it calculates the actual group of the inventory and how much quantity is available. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing to be able to see here. So that's some of the group versus individual views. Another view that you may see here is stock levels. And I think since we're filtering for status, that's not going to be as powerful. But let's click on stock levels here, and we can see iPhone 8 B grade. We have 3,000 that are sitting in available status. If we remove the status filter, what we're going to see is, look, we actually have those iPhone 8 B grade sitting across multiple different statuses. We've got 3,000 in available, 1 in repair, 3 that are unavailable, 1 of this model that's in repair, and 1 of this model, the red versus jet black. So we can see the different models that are in different statuses across our inventory. And if we get rid of B grade here, we're going to see even more. And another filter that I didn't mention was this functionality filter. So you have the ability to see devices, whether or not they have any conditions, damage conditions applied in WholeCell or not. And you can even match them to specific conditions. So right now we're matching I don't think we've got any iPhone 8 with any damage conditions in the stock levels view. Let's see if we can see them in the group view. Yeah, so now we can specifically look for iPhones with cracked glass, iPhone 8 with cracked glass, and this is matching any, so it's matching iPhones that have potentially cracked glass and another problem. Let's say in this particular instance, you just want to find items with only cracked glass, so we're looking for an exact match. iPhone 8 cracked glass, let's go back and do our status of B grade again. And now you have the quantities. Unfortunately, both of these are sold, so we'd want to choose available if we were looking for available stock to sell. But this is the power, guys. This is the power of WholeCell's inventory tables over spreadsheets. You can do so much more so quickly without having to manage a sheet at scale as well. And then the last piece that I had in that in that list earlier was bulk actions. So and I kind of want to stress this, from a grouped view or an individual view, you get the same bulk actions, which is something far beyond what spreadsheets are able to do. So we can go in here and we can see these 3 items are sold. We probably don't want to edit them, but just for the sake of showing you what bulk actions can do, I'm going to show you all of this stuff. So from the bulk actions menu, we can add them to an order, add things to a process batch, an offer analysis. We can transfer, if they were on the wrong purchase order, transfer them to another one. We can add financial costs, add different new damage conditions. We can add notes, maybe technician notes about something. We can change their grade, change their location, change the actual product itself. What product is this? Kind of like a SKU change. We can change their status. We can print labels for them. And we can remove conditions as well as adding conditions. So we have a lot of capability there, and I'll just pop over to the individual view and show you how that works as well. So say we've just got this one item by ESN, we can select it, and we have all of those different options to perform on one specific item. So you can perform them on a group, or you can perform them on the item that is you're specifically selecting. And you can do that, you can combine kind of all of these things. We could, I'll refresh this page to get rid of the filters, and then we could search for that item and then perform those bulk actions on it. So now I can maybe print a label for it. Let's show you guys how that works. And I'm just pulling stuff out of the air here to show you these different bulk actions that you can use. So this will take us to a label for that item we wanted to print a label for. And if we wanted to print a label for that whole group, it would have shown us 3 labels here. So you have this power in WholeCell's inventory tables. And again, they're all over the app. They're in the different places that you look at inventory that allow you to kind of group and view and analyze your inventory in different ways. And I think that's a real significant power of WholeCell. If you're coming over to WholeCell from using spreadsheets to manage your inventory, having this view on every single page when you're interacting with a customer or your vendor, they make it much, much faster and easier for you to see where you're sitting and how things are looking. So yeah, that's the power, everybody. If you have any questions, please, I haven't gotten any in the chat so far. I'll pop back over to our demo slide here, just so you have those URLs. Again, if you'd like to start a WholeCell trial, we will give you a little bit more time since you visited us on this demo today. So start a chat with us if you end up starting a trial, and we'll give you a little extra time on your trial. And if you have any questions, you can always chat with us on our live chat in WholeCell, but we also love hearing from folks that are using WholeCell and have questions about how to use it. So that email will get to all of us at WholeCell. I haven't gotten any questions yet, so I'm going to end the demo there. Everyone, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday, and thanks for learning about WholeCell inventory tables. Take care.